Candidates to this series on the Virtual Educational and Exam Preparation Hub.
Yes, welcome everyone.
Wish them well on their hunt for a satisfying government dream job through successful appearance in the SSC CGL Tier I exam.
Absolutely.
This is a curated model paper for practice for the upcoming SSC CGL Tier I 2026 exam. And, imagine sitting in a perfectly silent room. A clock is ticking on the wall.
Oh, that stress is real.
Yeah, it really is. You have exactly 60 minutes to answer 100 questions that could, honestly, fundamentally determine the rest of your career.
Right.
So how do you survive that gauntlet without panicking? Today, we are taking you inside the ultimate model paper, kind of just breaking down the exact mechanics of how to win.
It is an absolute pleasure to be here. We really have a highly crucial session ahead of us today.
We really do.
We are looking at a comprehensive deep dive, structured exactly like the real computer-based exam you're going to face.
Okay, so what's the layout like?
Well, we have 100 questions spread sequentially across 4 distinct sections. We've got general intelligence and reasoning, general awareness, quantitative aptitude, and finally, English comprehension.
Wow, that's a lot of ground to cover.
It is, yeah. My goal today is to serve as your guide, kind of like a teacher at the whiteboard, ensuring you don't just memorize answers, but deeply understand the architecture of the test itself.
Okay, let's unpack this layout so you, the listener, know exactly what you are up against.
Good idea.
Each of these 100 questions carries a reward of +2 marks if you get it right.
Which is great, but
watch it. Yeah, there's the negative marking of -0.50 for every wrong answer.
Right, so guessing wildly will actively hurt you.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. And as we mentioned, you have exactly 60 minutes to navigate this entire thing.
Which brings us to a fundamental strategy.
What's that?
While we're going to take our time in this presentation, calmly unpacking the logic, history, and math behind every single question, your real-world exam strategy needs to be, well, ruthlessly efficient.
All right, 60 minutes goes by fast.
Exactly. In that 60-minute window, you just cannot afford to linger. My advice, allocate significantly less time to general awareness in English.
Because you basically either know it or you don't.
Yes, exactly. You either know those facts and grammatical rules or you just don't. So bank that saved time for quantitative aptitude and reasoning.
Where you physically have to calculate things.
Precisely. That's where you deduce the answers.
That makes total sense. We want you to follow through patiently today, practice alongside us, and really internalize these methods.
Grab a notebook, really.
Yeah, definitely. So let's dive right into Section A, which is General Intelligence and Reasoning.
All right, let's do it.
This section, covering our first 25 questions, is all about the power of logical deduction and pattern recognition.
My favorite.
Let's start with a test of linguistic math, basically, analogies. Question 1. Select the option related to the third word in the same way as the second is related to the first. Singer is to song, as poet is to what?
Okay, let's hear the options.
The options are A, poem, B, story, C, novel, or D, essay. I mean, poets write stories too, right? Could it be B?
It's tempting, I know, but the secret to conquering analogies is to rigidly define the exact primary relationship in the first pair before you even glance at the options.
Oh, before you even look.
Yes. What is the defining relationship between a singer and a song?
A singer makes a song.
Right. It's creator to primary creation. A singer specifically exists to create or perform a song.
Okay, I see.
So applying that exact same logic, a poet exists to create what? While a poet might dabble in stories or essays on the side, their primary defining creation is a poem.
Ah, so the correct answer is A, poem.
Exactly.
I see. You have to find the tightest possible link. Let's apply that strict rule to question 2. Train is to track, as ship is to what? A, rail, B, sea road, or D, sky.
Let's build that bridge again. A train is a vehicle, and a track is the specific physical path it travels on.
So the relationship is vehicle to operational path.
Precisely. So a ship is our vehicle. What is its operational path?
It travels on the sea. So the correct answer is B, sea.
Perfect.
So what happens when we take that exact same logic, but strip away words entirely? Question 3 asks us to select the number that completes the analogy. 15 is to 5, as 27 is to what? Options are A, 12, B, 6, C, 9, or D, 3.
Well, we just simply shift from linguistic logic to mathematical logic, but the process is completely identical.
Okay, so how does 15 become 5?
Right. What's the simplest, most direct mathematical operation there? It's dividing by 3.
Oh, okay.
That is our identified rule. Now, we strictly apply it to 27. 27 divided by 3 gives us 9.
Which is option C. That's nice and clean.
Yes, very straightforward.
But question 4 sets a trap, I think. 2 is to 16, as 3 is to what? Options are A, 27, B, 64, C, 54, or D, 81.
Why do you think it's a trap?
Well, my immediate instinct is to say, okay, 2 times 8 is 16, so 3 times 8 is 24. But 24 isn't even an option.
Exactly. The test makers are actively forcing you to look past simple multiplication. When numbers jump that drastically, you need to think about exponents. Let's test that hypothesis. How does 2 become 16 through exponents?
2 to the power of something.
Right. 2 raised to the power of 4 is 16. That's 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16.
Okay, so the rule is raise the first number to the 4th power.
Let's apply that to 3. 3 raised to the power of 4 is 3 times 3, which is 9, times 3, which is 27, times 3, which is 81.
And 81 is option D, so D is correct.
You got it.
Awesome. Question 5 moves us into letter clusters, basically testing our spatial awareness of the alphabet. PEN is to QFO, as bag is to what? A, CBH, B, CBG, C, DBH, or D, CCH.
For letter clusters, I always recommend visualizing the alphabet as a number line. Look at how each individual letter advances.
Okay, so P goes to Q.
Right, that's moving exactly one step forward. E goes to F, one step forward. N goes to O, one step.
So the structural rule is shifting each letter forward by one position.
Exactly. Let's apply this to bag. B plus 1 becomes C.
A plus 1 becomes B.
And G plus 1 becomes H.
Yeah.
That gives us the cluster CBH, which is option A.
Let's pivot slightly from direct analogies to finding the break in a pattern. Question 6 asks us to select the odd one out from A, apple, B, carrot, C, potato, D, onion. They're all produce, so what's the distinguishing factor here?
What's really fascinating here is that the test is probing your basic botanical knowledge to form categories.
Like how they grow.
Exactly. Think about how these grow. A carrot, a potato, and an onion all share a specific trait. They develop and grow entirely underground.
Oh, wow. And an apple is a fruit that grows above ground on the branches of a tree.
Therefore, apple, option A, breaks the spatial growth pattern and is definitively the odd one out.
Question 7 is another odd one out, but with numbers. A, 15, B, 22, C, 5, D, 10.
Here we're looking for common mathematical properties uniting 3 of these numbers.
Well, 5, 10, and 15 all share a very clear relationship. They are all perfect multiples of 5.
Right. And 22, however, is not a multiple of 5. It breaks the grouping. So B, 22, is our outlier.
Now we move into series questions where we kind of have to predict the future based on the past.
I like that way of putting it.
Question 8. Find the letter that continues the series. B, E, H, K, and then blank. Options are A, M, B, O, C, L, D, N.
Let's act as a detective here and just measure the gaps between these letters.
Okay.
From B to E, we count C, D, E. That's a jump of 3 positions. From E to H, F, G, H, again, 3 positions.
And H to K is I, J, K, 3 positions.
Right. The pattern is solidly established as a +3 jump. So from K, we count forward 3, which is L, M, +3 jump. So from K, we count forward 3, which is L, M, N.
So the correct continuation is D, N.
Exactly.
Question 9 asks for the number to complete the series. 0, 3, 8, 15, 24, blank. Options are A, 35, B, 34, C, 36, D, 33. I always start by finding the differences between the numbers.
That is exactly the right first step. The gap between 0 and 3 is 3. Between 3 and 8 is 5.
Between 8 and 15 is 7. Between 15 and 24 is 9.
Notice how the gaps themselves form a pattern. They are consecutive odd numbers 3, 5, 7, 9.
Oh, logically, the next gap should be the next odd number, which is 11. So 24 plus 11 is 35. Wait, I also noticed something else. Aren't all those original numbers just one less than a perfect square? Like 9 minus 1 is 8, 16 minus 1 is 15.
Brilliant observation. You literally just found the algebraic formula for this series. It's n squared minus 1.
Oh, cool.
The first term is 1 squared minus 1, which is 0. The fifth term is 5 squared, 25, minus 1, which is 24.
So the sixth term is 6 squared, 36 minus 1, which perfectly aligns with our other method to give 35.
It is incredibly reassuring when 2 different logical paths lead to the exact same destination, isn't it? So, option A.
Very reassuring. Question 10 looks a lot more intimidating, though. Complete the series. 2, 10, 30, 68, blank. Options are A, 120, B, 130, C, 128, D, 132.
Yeah, that scales up quickly.
The gaps here are jumping from 8 to 20 to 38. They're getting big fast. What's the trick to spotting the logic here?
That rapid growth is actually your biggest clue. When numbers escalate that quickly, standard addition usually isn't the root mechanism.
Oh, so what is it?
You need to immediately test for squares or cubes. Look closely at 30 and 68. They sit suspiciously close to 27 and 64, which are 3 cubed and 4 cubed.
Okay, let's test that out.
Let's formulate a rule. Let's try n cubed plus n. For the first term, n equals 1. 1 cubed is 1 plus 1 equals 2.
For n equals 2, 2 cubed is 8 plus 2 equals 10.
For n equals 3, 3 cubed is 27 plus 3 equals 30. For n equals 4, 4 cubed is 64 plus 4 equals 68.
Wow, the pattern is flawless. So to find the next term, we use n equals 5. 5 cubed is 125. Add 5 to that, and we arrive at 130.
Which is option B.
Okay, that is immensely satisfying when it clicks.
It really is.
Question 11 reverses the trend. 7, 1, and 29, 243, 81, 27, blank. Options are A, 18, B, 6, C, 9, D, 3.
Just as rapid growth points to exponents, rapid shrinking points strongly to division.
Makes sense.
If we divide 729 by 3, we get exactly 243. Divide 243 by 3, you get 81. Divide 81 by 3, you get 27.
So the rule is a sequential division by 3.
Exactly. Following that established rule, 27 divided by 3 leaves us with 9. The correct option is C.
Question 12 is our last series problem. 4, 6, 9, 13, 18, blank. Options are A, 23, B, 25, C, 22, D, 24.
Let's just return to mapping the gaps here.
Okay, 4 to 6 is a jump of plus 2. 6 to 9 is plus 3.
9 to 13 is plus 4. 13 to 18 is plus 5. The additions themselves are incrementing by 1 each time.
So the next logical addition must be plus 6.
Hmm.
We take our last number, 18, and add 6 to it, which gives us 24. Answer D.
Spot on.
Let's shift gears into coding decoding. This is where the test turns you into a cryptographer.
Yes, these are fun.
Question 13. In a code language, MyIND is written as QMRH. How is book written in that code? Options are A, FSSO, B, FSSPC, ESO, D, FTSO.
To break the cipher, we literally stack the first word over its code on our scratch paper and look for the mathematical relationship between the letters.
So M transforms to Q.
Right. If you count forward in the alphabet N, O, P, Q, that is exactly 4 steps.
But I to M is also forward 4 steps.
N to R, forward 4. D to H, forward 4. The universal rule for this cipher is a consistent plus 4 shift.
Let's apply this key to book then. B plus 4 is F, O plus 4 is S. The second O is also S, K plus 4 is O.
And stitching that all together, we get FSSO. Option A is our decoded word.
Question 14. If A equals 1, B equals 2, all the way to Z equals 26, what is the sum of the position values of the letters of the word SKY? Options are A, 54, B, 55, C, 53, D, 57.
This strictly tests your recall of alphabetical positions. The letter S sits at the 19th position.
K is the 11th letter, Y is the 25th letter.
And the question asked for the sum, so we simply add them up. 19 plus 11 gives us clean 30. Add 25 to 30, and we reach 55.
So B is the correct answer.
Great.
Question 15 plays with a similar concept. If Earth is written as 5, 1, 18, 28 using letter positions, how is Moon written? Options are A, 12, 15, 15, 14, B, 13, 16, 15, 14, C, 13, 15, 14, D, 13, 15, 14, 15.
The premise explicitly confirms that each letter is directly substituted with its exact numerical position. E is 5, A is 1, and so forth.
Let's translate Moon. M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. O is the 15th letter. The second O is, of course, also 15. N is the 14th letter.
Reading that sequence left to right, we get exactly 13, 15, 15, 14.
That aligns perfectly with option C.
Excellent.
Moving on to blood relations. Question 16. X is the brother of Y. Z is the father of X. W is the brother of Z. How is W related to Y? Options are A, father, B, grandfather, C, brother, D, uncle. I find these can get so tangled in my head if I just try to read them straight through.
Which is exactly why you must never try to solve them purely in your head.
Really?
Absolutely. Treat it like a schematic. Draw a quick family tree diagram on your scratch paper. Let's map it step by step.
Okay, so X and Y are on the same horizontal generational level.
Right. They are connected as siblings because X is the brother. Z is the father of X, which means Z is drawn one vertical level up.
Now, logic dictates that if Z is the father of X and X is Y's brother, then Z must also be the father of Y.
Correct. Next, we are told W is the brother of Z. They share that upper parent level.
So W is the brother of Y's father.
And by definition, your father's brother is your uncle. Therefore, W is the uncle to Y. Option D is the definitive answer.
Drawing it out makes it so much clearer. Let's do it for question 17. Q is the father of P. R is the daughter of P. How is Q related to R? Options are A, grandfather, B, father, C, uncle, D, brother.
Let's build the tree vertically again. On the top level, we place Q, who is a father.
One level down is his child, P.
Then the problem states R is the daughter of P, so R goes one more level below P.
Looking at the unbroken vertical chain, Q is the parent of P, who is the parent of R.
This structurally means Q is 2 generations above R. The father of a parent is a grandfather, so Q is the grandfather of R, option A.
We are on to directions now with question 18. A man walks 16 meters towards north, then turns and walks 12 meters towards east. How far is he from the starting point? Options are A, 24 meters, B, 20 meters, C, 28 meters, D, 4 meters.
This isn't just about drawing a map on your page, it's about recognizing geometric shapes hidden in everyday movements.
Geometric shapes.
Yeah, he goes straight north for 16 meters that forms one vertical leg. He turns exactly 90 degrees east and walks 12 meters that forms a horizontal base.
Oh, and the question asks how far he is from the starting point, which implies the shortest straight line distance.
Exactly. By connecting the star and endpoints, we've basically drawn the hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle.
So to solve it, we use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Right. 16 squared is 256, 12 squared is 144, 256 plus 144 equals 400.
And to find C, we take the square root of 400, which gives us exactly 20. He is 20 meters from the start. Option B.
That is a great tip about looking for hidden geometry.
It really is. Question 19 involves time and direction. At 12:00, a clock's minute hand points north. In which direction does it point at 12:5? Options are A, west, B, north, C, east, D, south.
Visualize the physical face of an analog clock. At exactly 12:00, the minute hand points straight up at the 12, which the problem arbitrarily defines as north.
As time passes to 12:15, the minute hand moves to the 3.
This movement covers exactly 1/4 of the circular clock face. A full circle is 360 degrees, so a quarter of that is 90 degrees.
The hand has moved 90 degrees clockwise from its starting north position.
And on a standard compass rose, if you face north and turn 90 degrees clockwise, you are facing east. Therefore, the answer is C, east.
Let's tackle a ranking problem. Question 20. 40 boys are standing in a row. Suresh is 13th from one end. What is his position from the other end? Options are A, 27th, B, 29th, C, 26th, D, 28th. If there are 40 total, and he's 13th from the left, wouldn't he just be 40 minus 13, so 27th from the right?
That is the most common mistake candidates make.
Oh, really?
Let me explain why subtraction alone fails. If you just subtract 13 from 40, you are counting the number of boys standing behind Suresh. You've essentially removed Suresh from the entire calculation.
I see.
We don't want to know how many people are behind him. We want his actual position. To do that, we have to add him back into the count.
Okay, so what's the formula?
The reliable formula is position from the other end equals total items minus the given position plus 1.
So 40 minus 13 is 27. Add 1 back to include Suresh himself, and we get 28. He is 28th from the other end. Option D.
That plus 1 rule is an absolute lifesaver.
Definitely writing that down. Question 21 is a practical time arithmetic question. How many minutes are there between 9:40 a.m. and 10:05 a.m.? Options are A, 45 minutes, B, 40 minutes, C, 50 minutes, D, 55 minutes.
The smoothest way to calculate this without making an error, because, time isn't base 10, it's base 60, is to break the calculation at the nearest hour mark.
Oh, that makes sense. From 9:40 a.m. up to 10 a.m. is a clean 20 minutes.
Then starting fresh from 10 a.m. to 10:05 a.m. is an additional 25 minutes.
Simply combine those two chunks.
Yeah.
20 plus 25 equals 45 minutes. Option A is correct.
Exactly.
Time for syllogisms, which I always feel like mental gymnastics to me. Question 22. Statements. All squares are rectangles. All rectangles are polygons. Conclusions. Us. All squares are polygons. 2. Some polygons are squares. Options are A, neither follows. B, both follows. C, only I follows. D, only 2 follows.
The absolute best tool for syllogisms is a mental Venn diagram. Draw a small circle and label it squares. The first statement insists all squares are rectangles, so draw a larger circle named rectangles that completely engulfs the square circle.
Got it. And the second statement says all rectangles are polygons, so draw an even larger circle named polygons that completely swallows the rectangle circle.
Exactly. You now have a bullseye structure. Now evaluate the conclusions based solely on the drawing. Conclusion 1. All squares are polygons.
Looking at our nested circles, the entire square circle sits deep inside the polygon circle. So yes, I definitively follows.
Perfect. Conclusion 2. Some polygons are squares. Because the square circle physically takes up a portion of the space inside the polygon circle, it is mathematically true that some of that polygon territory is indeed made of squares.
So 2 also follows. Both follow, which means option B is correct.
Well done.
Question 23. Statement. Plant more trees to reduce pollution. Conclusions. 1. Trees can help reduce pollution. 2. Pollution is harmful. Options are A, only 2 follows, B, neither follows, C, both follow, D, only I follows. Wait, for conclusion 2, the statement doesn't explicitly say pollution is harmful. We just know that from the real world. Are we allowed to assume that here?
It's a great question because usually in syllogisms, outside assumptions are strictly forbidden. You only use what's on the page.
Huh.
However, this is an appeal or a course of action statement. We have to deduce what is logically implied by the structure of the statement itself.
The statement is, plant more trees to reduce pollution.
The very phrasing implies that the action planting trees has the intended effect of reducing pollution. Therefore, conclusion I logically follows.
What about conclusion 2?
Why would a public appeal urge us to reduce pollution? The call to action inherently embeds the premise that the thing being reduced pollution is a negative, harmful element that requires mitigating.
If it were beneficial, there would be no appeal to reduce it.
Therefore, conclusion 2 logically follows directly from the context of the appeal, not just our outside knowledge. Both follow, so C is the correct choice.
That is a really fascinating distinction. Question 24 explores set theory logic. In a group of 90 people, 50 read English newspapers, 45 read Hindi newspapers, and 20 read both. How many read at least one of them? Options are A, 70, B, 80, C, 95, D, 75. Again, my instinct is just to add 50 and 45.
And if you do, you get 95. But notice the problem explicitly states there are only 90 people in the entire group. How can you have 95 readers out of 90 people?
Right, that's mathematically impossible.
This is the classic intersection trap. The 50 English readers and the 45 Hindi readers aren't entirely separate groups. There are 20 people who are bilingual and read both.
Oh, when I just added 50 and 45, I counted those 20 bilingual people twice. Once in the English pile and once in the Hindi pile.
Precisely. To find the true number of unique individuals who read at least one paper, we must subtract that overlap. The formula is total unique readers equals the sum of individual readers minus the intersection.
So 50 plus 45 is 95. Subtract the 20 double-counted readers. 95 minus 20 is exactly 75.
So 75 distinct people read at least one paper, option D.
And wrapping up section A, we have question 25 involving Bode-Emmaus operations. If plus means divide, minus means multiply, multiply means minus, and divide means plus, then what is the value of? 12 plus 4 minus 3, multiply 2, divide 6. Options are A, 13, B, 12, C, 14, D, 15.
The biggest mistake candidates make here is trying to hold the swapped signs in their head while calculating.
Yeah, that sounds like a headache.
Don't do it. The very first step before you perform a single calculation is to physically rewrite the entire equation with the new substituted signs.
Okay, 12 plus 4 becomes 12 divided by 4, minus 3 becomes multiplied by 3, multiplied by 2 becomes minus 2, divided by 6 becomes plus 6.
So our newly generated equation is 12 divided by 4, multiplied by 3, minus 2, plus 6. Now we strictly apply the Bode-Emmaus roll brackets, orders, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction.
We start with division. 12 divided by 4 is 3. The equation is now 3 multiplied by 3 minus 2 plus 6.
Next is multiplication. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. We are left with 9 minus 2 plus 6.
Finally, execute addition and subtraction straight from left to right. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13.
The final indisputable answer is 13, which is option A.
That brings us to the end of section A. Fantastic job methodically breaking those down. Let's shift gears now into section B, general awareness, covering questions 26 to 50.
Yes, moving on.
As you mentioned, your strategy overview, this is a segment testing broad factual knowledge. In the real exam, you either know these or you don't know lingering.
Exactly. This is where you harvest precious seconds to spend on the complex math problems later. However, while we are studying today, we aren't just going to read out the answers.
Right.
We are going to explore the why and the historical context behind these facts, because context is what makes trivia lodge permanently in your memory.
I really love that approach. Starting with history, question 26. Who built the early version of the Grand Trunk Road? A. Shah Jahan, B. Sher Shah Suri, C. Akbar, D. Ashoka.
The correct answer is B. Sher Shah Suri.
But why did he build it?
Why did he? In the 16th century, he needed to rapidly move his army and facilitate trade across his sprawling empire. He undertook a massive infrastructure project to connect and formalize the ancient disjointed trade routes into a single massive highway known as the Sadak-e-Azam.
Oh, and that became the Grand Trunk Road.
Yes, which remains one of Asia's oldest and most vital historical arteries.
Question 27. Mahatma Gandhi's Champaran Satyagraha of 1917 was related to the farmers of which crop? A. Tea, B. Sugarcane, C. Indigo, D. Cotton. Why this specific crop?
The answer is C, indigo, and the why is central to the injustice. Indigo was a highly lucrative cash crop used to create blue dye for the booming European textile industry.
Okay, so where does the Satyagraha come in?
European planters were viciously forcing impoverished farmers in the Champaran district of Bihar to cultivate indigo on their best land under exploitative conditions, rather than allowing them to grow the food crops they desperately needed to feed their families.
Oh, wow, that's terrible.
Gandhi's intervention here to stop this exploitation marked his very first major Satyagraha, or nonviolent resistance movement, on Indian soil.
Question 28. Who was the first European to discover a sea route from Europe to India? A. Christopher Columbus. B. Marco Polo. C. Ferdinand Magellan. D. Vasco da Gama.
The answer is D, Vasco da Gama. But the context is crucial. Why were they so desperate for a sea route?
Yeah, why risk the ocean?
At the time, the land routes connecting Europe to the spice-rich East were heavily controlled and taxed by the Ottoman Empire, making trade exorbitantly expensive.
Economics.
Always. In 1498, this Portuguese explorer successfully navigated a treacherous path all the way around the southern tip of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and arrived in Calicut. This single discovery profoundly changed global power dynamics, completely bypassing the land routes and launching the era of European maritime dominance.
Question 29. The dual government system in Bengal after 1765 is associated with whom? A. Robert Clive. B. Warren Hastings. C. Lord Cornwallis. D. Lord Wellesley.
It is associated with A. Robert Clive. This system was essentially a masterclass in bureaucratic exploitation.
How so?
Following the Battle of Buxar, Clive introduced a system where the British East India Company secured the Diwani the highly lucrative right to collect all revenues. However, they cunningly left the local Nawab with the Nizamat all the actual administrative, policing, and judicial duties.
Wait, so they took all the money but did none of the work?
Exactly. It was a parasitic arrangement that gave the company all the wealth of the region with absolutely zero responsibility for the welfare of the people, leading to immense suffering and famine.
Let's move to polity. Question 30. On which date was the Constitution of India adopted by the Constituent Assembly? A. 2 October 1949. B. 26 November 1949. C. 26 January 1950. D. 15 August 1947. Could you clarify the difference between adoption and coming into force? I know that trips a lot of people up.
It's a vital historical distinction. The Constitution was finalized, passed, and officially adopted by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949.
That is the day the ink dried and the document was formally accepted.
Therefore, B is the exact correct answer to this question. However, the framers intentionally delayed its actual legal implementation. It formally came into force 2 months later on January 26, 1950.
Why the delay?
To specifically honor the anniversary of the historic Purna Swaraj, or Total Independence Declaration, made back in 1930.
Question 31. Which writ is issued by a court to produce a detained person before it? A. Quo warranto. B. Certiorari. C. Habeas corpus. D. Mandamus.
The answer is C, habeas corpus. The term is Latin, and its literal translation perfectly explains its function: you shall have the body.
Okay, that makes sense.
It is arguably the most fundamental legal safeguard against unlawful or arbitrary imprisonment in a democracy. The court uses this writ to command police or authorities to physically bring the detained individual, the body, before a judge, so the court can impartially determine if their detention is legally justified.
Question 32. What is the retirement age of a judge of the Supreme Court of India? A. 62 years. B. 60 years. C. 70 years. D. 65 years.
Under the Constitution, a judge of the Supreme Court of India holds office until they attain the age of 65 years. So the answer is D.
Is it the same for all courts?
Good question. To provide a bit of comparative context that often appears on these exams, judges sitting on high courts currently retire slightly earlier, at age 62.
Question 33. Which is the upper house of the Indian Parliament? A. Rajya Sabha. B. Lok Sabha. C. Vidhan Sabha. D. Vidhan Parishad.
The Indian Parliament operates on a bicameral system, meaning it has two distinct chambers.
Right.
The Lok Sabha, directly elected by the public, is the House of the People, or the lower house. The Rajya Sabha is the Council of States. It acts as the upper house, specifically designed to represent the interests of the individual states and union territories at the federal level. Thus, A is the correct answer.
Jumping into geography. Question 34. Which is the largest island in the world? A. New Guinea. B. Greenland. C. Madagascar. D. Borneo. Wait, what about Australia? It's an island and it's massive.
It's a very common misconception. Geographically and geologically, Australia is classified as a continental landmass.
Oh, because it's on its own plate.
Exactly. It sits on its own distinct major tectonic plate and possesses immense size and diverse geology that distinguish it from mere islands. Because Australia is categorized as a continent, Greenland claims the official title of the world's largest island. So B is the correct answer.
Question 35. Which is the largest hot desert in the world? A, the Gobi, B, the Kalahari, C, the Sahara, D, the Thar.
The crucial qualifier in this question is the word hot. The Sahara in North Africa is undeniably the largest hot desert, making C the correct answer.
Wait, are there cold deserts?
Yes. Here's a fascinating piece of trivia. If the question simply asked for the largest desert in the world, the answer would actually be Antarctica.
What? Really?
Yes. In geographical terms, a desert is strictly defined by its incredibly low level of annual precipitation, not by its temperature. Antarctica is the driest continent on Earth.
That is mind-blowing. I'll remember that definition. Question 36. The Western Ghats run roughly parallel to which coast of India? A, the eastern coast, B, the northern plains, C, the southern tip, D, the western coast.
The geographical clue is right there in the name. The Western Ghats are a majestic, continuous mountain range running directly parallel to the western coast of the Indian Peninsula, serving as a towering border along the Arabian Sea. So D is correct.
Are they ecologically important?
Incredibly important. They dictate the monsoon weather patterns for the region and are a recognized UNESCO World Heritage Site, globally famous for their staggering biodiversity.
Question 37. Which country currently has the largest population in the world? A, India, B, China, C, United States, D, Indonesia.
For decades, the answer was China. But demographics shift. Based on recent United Nations demographic estimates, India has officially surpassed China to become the most populous country on the planet. Therefore, A is the correct answer.
Question 38. Which city is regarded as the financial capital of India? A, Chennai, B, Mumbai, C, New Delhi, D, Kolkata. Why wouldn't it be the actual capital, New Delhi?
Because political power and economic power don't always reside in the same place. While New Delhi is the seat of the government and political administration, Mumbai is the undeniable, thumping heartbeat of India's economy.
Ah, so that's where the money is.
Exactly. It physically houses the Reserve Bank of India, the massive Bombay Stock Exchange, the National Stock Exchange, and serves as the corporate headquarters for a vast majority of major domestic and international financial institutions. So B, Mumbai, holds the title of financial capital.
We have two quick economy questions next. Question 39. What does the abbreviation PAN stand for, as used in income tax? A, public account number, B, primary account number, C, permanent account number, D, personal account number.
PAN stands for Permanent Account Number, making C the answer. It's a highly secure, unique 10-character alphanumeric identifier issued to all tax-paying entities in India.
Why is permanent the key word there?
It ensures that all financial transactions, investments, and tax records are permanently linked to that specific individual or corporation for life, regardless of changes in address or job.
Question 40. In India, coins are issued by which authority? A, the Reserve Bank of India, B, the State Bank of India, C, private banks, D, the Government of India. I feel like this is a classic trick question designed to catch us off guard.
It absolutely is, which is exactly why I want to emphasize the underlying mechanism. Almost everyone instinctively assumes the central bank, the RBI, issues all money.
Right, that would be my guess.
However, while the Reserve Bank of India has the authority to issue all currency notes from the 2 rupee note upwards, the physical minting and issuance of all coins, as well as the 1 rupee note, is the sole exclusive responsibility of the Government of India, operating under the Coinage Act.
Okay, so D is the correct answer. Don't let that trick steal your marks on exam day.
Definitely not.
Moving into general science, we have quite a variety of topics here. Let's start with chemistry. Question 41. Which is the lightest metal? A, lithium, B, aluminium, C, iron, D, sodium.
Looking at the atomic weights on the periodic table, lithium, option A, holds the definitive title for the lightest metal. It has an incredibly low atomic mass and density.
How light are we talking?
To put it in perspective, it is so exceptionally light that a block of solid lithium can actually float on oil or even water.
Wow, floating metal.
Yeah, though you wouldn't want to try it, as it reacts highly exothermically with water.
Note to self, do not throw lithium in water. Question 42. What is the chemical symbol for silver? A, AU, B, AG, C, C, Psi, D, SL.
The correct symbol is BAG. This often confuses people because it doesn't match the English word.
Where does it come from?
It stems from argentum, which is the ancient Latin word for silver. As a quick bonus tip to keep them straight, O stands for gold, which derives from the Latin aurum.
Let's touch on biology. Question 43. The green color of plant leaves is due to which pigment? A, keratin, B, melanin, C, chlorophyll, D, hemoglobin. How does that pigment actually work?
The answer is C, chlorophyll, and the mechanism is fascinating. Chlorophyll is a complex molecule that allows plants to absorb energy from sunlight.
Okay.
Specifically, it absorbs light most strongly in the blue and red portions of the electromagnetic spectrum.
So what happens to the green light?
Because it absorbs blue and red, it reflects the remaining light, which is in the green spectrum, back to our eyes. That's why leaves appear green. It is the core molecular engine that drives photosynthesis, converting light into life.
Question 44. Sound travels fastest through which of the following? A, liquids, B, gases, C, vacuum, D, solids.
This is entirely about molecular density. Let me offer an analogy. Think of sound like a physical bump traveling across a room.
Okay, a bump.
If you were in a completely empty room of vacuum in the vacuum, you can't bump into anyone. Sound cannot travel in a vacuum at all. If you are in a room with a few people widely spaced apart, like molecules in a gas, it takes a long time for one person to bump into the next.
Right.
But if you are on a densely packed dance floor where everyone is standing shoulder to shoulder like the tightly packed molecules in a solid, a single bump on one side instantly ripples across the entire crowd.
Ah, because particles and solids are packed very tightly together, the vibrational energy transfers much faster than in liquids or gases.
Thus, D, solids, is the correct answer.
That dance floor analogy makes it instantly understandable. Question 45. Deficiency of which vitamin causes night blindness? A, vitamin A, B, vitamin B, C, vitamin C, D, vitamin D.
The answer is A, vitamin A. On a cellular level, your body requires vitamin A to synthesize a specific light-sensitive protein called rhodopsin.
Rhodopsin, okay.
Rhodopsin is located in the retina of your eyes and is absolutely essential for allowing you to see in low light or dim conditions. A severe lack of this vitamin drastically impairs this process, leading to a condition clinically known as nyctalopia or night blindness.
Question 46. Which force keeps the planets in their orbits around the sun? A, nuclear force, B, gravitational force, C, magnetic force, D, frictional force.
It is B, the gravitational force. Imagine swimming a ball on a string in a circle around your head.
I can picture that.
The string constantly pulls the ball inward toward your hand. The immense mass of the sun creates a strong gravitational pull that acts just like that string. It constantly tugs the planets inward, acting as a centripetal force.
Oh, and this inward pull perfectly balances the planet's forward momentum, trapping them in a continuous elliptical orbit rather than letting them fly off into deep space.
Exactly.
Rounding out section B with static GK. Question 47. Who is the author of the book, The Discovery of India? A, Rabindranath Tagore, B, B.R. Ambedkar, C, Jawaharlal Nehru, D, Mahatma Gandhi.
The Discovery of India is a massive, seminal work of literature and history written by Jawaharlal Nehru, option C.
What's the context for it?
The context of its creation is remarkable. He wrote it entirely during his extended political incarceration at the Ahmednagar Fort prison camp between 1942 and 1946, meticulously tracing India's rich history, culture, and philosophy from ancient times up to the British Raj.
Question 48. The harvest festival Onam is mainly celebrated in which state? A, Tamil Nadu, B, Karnataka, C, Punjab, D, Kerala.
Onam is the grandest, most culturally significant harvest festival of the southern state of Kerala.
I've seen pictures of the boat races.
Yes. It is celebrated globally by the Malayali community and is characterized by the spectacular Valam Kali, the snake boat races, highly vibrant and intricate floral carpet arrangements called Pukalam, and the elaborate 9-course feast known as Anasadya. So D is correct.
Question 49. Which is the longest wall in the world? A, the Great Wall of China, B, Hadrian's Wall, C, the Berlin Wall, D, the Wall of Babylon.
Unsurprisingly, it is A, the Great Wall of China. But it's important to understand it isn't just a single continuous brick wall.
It's not.
No, it's a sprawling, highly complex network of walls, trenches, and fortifications built across many different imperial dynasties over millennia. At its peak, the entire defensive network stretched for a staggering 21,000 kilometers.
Wow.
And here is a wonderful piece of architectural trivia. For certain sections built during the Ming Dynasty, the mortar used to bind the bricks together was literally made of sticky rice soup mixed with slaked lime, creating a bond so strong it has survived for centuries.
Sticky rice holding up an empire. That is amazing. And finally for this section, question 50. On which date is World Earth Day observed every year? A, 2 October, B, 22 April, C, 5 June, D, 21 June.
World Earth Day, which is a vital day dedicated to global environmental awareness, policy advocacy, and protection efforts, is held annually on April 22nd. Option B is correct.
Excellent. We are officially halfway through the paper. Take a breath, everyone, because we are now entering Section C, Quantitative Aptitude, spanning questions 51 to 75.
The heavy lifting begins.
As promised, this segment is all about deep, step-by-step mathematical problem solving. We will provide smooth, clear derivations for every single equation.
Indeed. This is where the time you saved in the general awareness section pays off. Get your mental whiteboards ready. The key to conquering quantitative aptitude is not just having the formulas memorized, but knowing how to set up the equations efficiently so the arithmetic flows naturally and without errors. Let's begin.
Question 51. What is 22% of 150? Options are A, 36, B, 28, C, 33, D, 30.
Let's look at two ways to solve this. The traditional way is to convert the percentage to a fraction. 22% literally means 22 over 100.
So we write out 22 over 100 multiplied by 150.
You can simplify this by crossing out a 0 from the 100 and the 150, leaving you with 22 times 15 divided by 10. That works, but it's slow.
Is there a shortcut?
Let's use a faster mental math shortcut. Think of 150 as 1.5 times 100. So to find 22% of 150, we simply multiply 22 by 1.5.
Oh, that's clever.
Breaking that down, 22 times 1 is 22. And what is half of 22? It's 11. Add those two pieces together. 22 plus 11 equals 33. The correct answer is C.
Oh, that mental breakdown method is infinitely faster. Question 52. A number increased by 20% becomes 96. Find the original number. A, 76, B, 84, C, 90, D, 80. If it increased by 20% to get to 96, can I just find 20% of 96 and subtract it back?
No, that is the most dangerous trap in percentage mathematics. 20% of the original smaller number is a different smaller quantity than 20% of the new larger number, which is 96. You cannot apply the percentage backwards.
Okay, so how do we set it up?
We must use algebra to build the correct baseline. Let our original unknown baseline number be represented by x. Increasing x by 20% means you take 100% of x and add 20% of x to it.
This gives you a total of 120% of x.
Expressed as a decimal, that is 1.20x. The problem explicitly states this new increased value is equal to 96. So our rock-solid equation is 1.20x equals 96.
So to find x, we isolate it by dividing 96 by 1.20.
Let's make the math easier by multiplying both numbers by 10 to drop the decimal. 960 divided by 12. We know 12 goes into 96 exactly 8 times, so 960 divided by 12 is 80. The original base number was exactly 80, which is option D.
That makes so much sense. I won't fall for that backwards percentage trick again. Question 53. Two numbers are in the ratio 7 to 9. If the larger number is 63, find the smaller number. A, 49, B, 45, C, 56, D, 42.
Ratios essentially represent units or parts. The two numbers are comprised of 7 equal parts and 9 equal parts, respectively. The problem provides us with a concrete value. It tells us the larger number, which represents the 9 parts, is exactly equal to 63. With this information, we can easily find the numerical value of a single part by dividing the total value 63 by the number of parts, which is 9.
63 divided by 9 is 7, so one individual part holds a value of 7.
The question asks for the smaller number, which is made up of 7 of these parts. To find its total value, we multiply the 7 parts by the value of 7 per part. 7 times 7 is 49. The answer is A.
Let's look at averages. Question 54. What is the average of 12, 18, 24, and 30? A, 24, B, 21, C, 20, D, 22.
This is a standard fundamental average calculation. Sum all the individual numbers and divide that total by the count of numbers.
So let's add them sequentially. 12 plus 18 gives a clean 30. Take that 30 and add 24 to reach 54. Finally, 54 plus 30 equals 84.
The total sum of the set is 84. Since there are 4 numbers in the set, we simply divide 84 by 4, which gives us 21. Option B is correct.
Question 55 is a classic exam favorite. A batsman scores 60 runs in his 10th innings and thereby increases his average by 3. Find his new average. A, 36, B, 27, C, 33, D, 30.
Yes, the infamous batsman problem. It looks complex, but it crumbles if we set it up algebraically, step by deliberate step. Let X be his average runs across the first 9 innings.
Okay, so his total runs before the 10th innings was 9 multiplied by X, or 9X?
In his 10th innings, he physically scores 60 runs. So his new updated total runs are represented by 9X plus 60. Now, how do we express his new average? By definition, it's his new total runs divided by the total number of innings played, which is 10.
But the problem also explicitly tells us his new average is his old average, X plus 3. So the new average is X plus 3.
We can now set these two definitions of the new average equal to each other to create an equation. The total runs 9x plus 60 divided by 10 innings equals the new average, x plus 3. Let's multiply both sides by 10 to remove the fraction. 9x plus 60 equals 10 times the quantity x plus 3.
Expand the right side, 10 times x is 10x, 10 times 3 is 30. So our finalized equation is 9x plus 60 equals 10x plus 30.
Let's solve for x. Subtract 9x from both sides, leaving just a single x on the right. Subtract 30 from both sides, leaving 30 on the left. So x equals 30. His old 9-innings average was 30.
But be incredibly careful here. The question specifically asks for his new average.
We must remember to add the 3 runs to the old average. 30 plus 3 is 33. The correct answer is C.
That is a master class in reading carefully. If you just stopped at finding x, you would have picked D and lost points. Question 56 brings us into real-world commercial scenarios. Profit and loss. A man buys a table for Rs 1,200 and sells it at a profit of 15%. Find the profit amount. A, Rs 150, B, Rs 200, C, Rs 120, D, Rs 180.
The foundational rule of commercial math is that profit is strictly and always calculated on the base cost price. The problem gives us the cost price as Rs 1,200, so we simply need to find 15% of Rs 1,200.
This is calculated as 15 over 100 multiplied by 1,200.
We can immediately cancel the 2 zeros on the denominator 100 and the 2 zeros on the 1,200. We are cleanly left with 15 multiplied by 12. Let's break that down mentally. 15 times 10 is 150. 15 times 2 is 30.
Add them together. 150 plus 30 is 180. The pure profit amount is Rs 180, which is option D.
Very nice.
Question 57. A shopkeeper sells a fan for Rs 1,140 at a loss of 5%. Find the cost price. A, Rs 1,200, B, Rs 1,150, C, Rs 197, D, Rs 1,240, and add it back.
Precisely. You're learning. The 5% loss is based on the unknown original cost price, not the final selling price. We must formulate this algebraically.
Okay, so if the shopkeeper sells at a 5% loss, it mathematically means he is recovering only 95% of his original cost price.
We can state this firmly as an equation. 95% of the cost price equals the final selling price of $11.40. Expressing percentages as decimals, that is 0.95 times CP equals $11.40.
To isolate the CP, we divide 1140 by 0.95.
To make the division by a decimal easier, multiply both the numerator and denominator by 100 to shift the decimal point. 114,000 divided by 95. Let's do the long division. 95 goes into 114 one time, leaving a remainder of 19. Bring down a 0 to make 190.
95 goes into 190 exactly twice.
We have 2 zeros remaining, which we append to the quotient. The result is 1,200. The original cost price was Rs 1,200, which is option A.
Question 58 involves markdowns. After a discount of 15%, an article is sold for Rs 1,020. Find its marked price. A, Rs 1,200, B, Rs 150, D, Rs 1,100.
The mathematical logic here is absolutely identical to the previous loss problem. A 15% discount signifies that the final selling price represents only 85% of the original marked sticker price.
We set up the same structure. 0.85 times the marked price equals 20.
We divide 120 by 0.85, again multiply by 100 to shift the decimal. 20 and 2,000 divided by 85. 85 goes into 102 one time, leaving a remainder of 17. Bring down the 0, making it a 170.
85 goes into 170 exactly twice. Append the remaining 2 zeros. The calculation yields 1,200. The original marked price was Rs 1,200? Option B.
All right.
Question 59 tests interest calculation. Find the simple interest on Rs 9,000 at 6% per annum for 2 years. Options are A, Rs 1,100, B, Rs 1,200, C, Rs 1,080, D, Rs 1,000.
For simple interest, the interest is calculated only on the original principal every single year. We strictly use the standard formula. Simple interest equals principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time, all divided by 100.
Let's identify our variables. The principal, P, is 9,000. The rate, R, is 6. The time, T, is 2 years.
So we plug them in. 9,000 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 2 divided by 100. First, simplify by canceling 2 zeros from the 9,000 and the denominator 100. We are left with the straight multiplication of 90 times 6 times 2.
Let's do 6 times 2 first, which is 12. So we need to calculate 90 times 12.
We know 9 times 12 is 108. Add the 0 back onto the end, and we get 1080. The simple interest earned over 2 years is Rs 1,080, which matches option C perfectly.
Now, question 60 moves to compound interest, which is a whole different beast. Find the amount on Rs 12,000 at 5% per annum for 2 years, compounded annually. A, Rs 13,200, B, Rs 13,000, C, Rs 12,600, D, Rs 13,230. Can you explain why compound interest goes differently than simple interest?
Absolutely. Simple interest is flat. You earn the exact same amount every year based only on the starting money. Compound interest is a snowball rolling down a hill.
A snowball like that.
At the end of the first year, you earn interest. But in the second year, you don't just earn interest on your original money, you earn interest on the interest you made in the first year. Accelerates.
Okay, so what's the formula?
The mathematical formula for calculating the final total amount is principal multiplied by the quantity 1 plus rate over 100 raised to the power of time. Here, P is 12,000, R is 5, and T is 2.
So we substitute 12,000 multiplied by 1 plus 5 over 100 squared.
Let's simplify inside the parenthesis. 5 over 100 is 0.05. So 1 plus part of 5 is 1.05. The formula is now 12,000 multiplied by 1.05 squared. We need to square 1.05.
1.05 times 1.05 equals 1.1025.
Now for the final step. Multiply the principal of 12,000 by 1.1025. We can make this easier by moving the decimal point of 1.1025 3 places to the right, by consuming the 3 zeros of the 12,000.
Oh, that's a good trick. The problem transforms into 12 multiplied by 1102.5.
Let's break that multiplication into 2 manageable chunks. 12 times 1100 is 13,200. Next, 12 times 2.5. Well, 12 times 2 is 24, and half of 12 is 6, so 24 plus 6 is 30.
Finally, add the two chunks together. The 13,200 plus 30 equals 13,230. The final snowball amount is RS 13,230. Option D is correct.
You're doing great with the mental math.
Thanks. That breakdown makes compound interest feel entirely manageable. Time and work is next. Question 61. A can do a piece of work in 9 days and B in 18 days. Working together, and how many days will they finish it? A, 6 days, B, 5 days, C, 9 days, D, 12 days.
We solve this using fraction math based on their specific daily work rates. Think of it like painting a massive house.
Okay, grabbing my paintbrush.
If worker A can paint the entire house in 9 days, it means every single day, A completes exactly 19th of the total work. If worker B takes 18 days to paint the same house, then every day B completes 118th of the work.
If they're painting together, we simply add their daily production rates. 19 plus 118.
To add fractions, we need a common denominator, which is obviously 18. Convert A's rate, 19 is equivalent to 218. Now add them. 218, A's daily work, plus 118, B's daily work equals 318.
Let's simplify 318 by dividing both the top and bottom by 3. This gives us 16.
What does this mean? It means together they paint 16th of the house every single day. To find the total number of days required to paint the whole house, we simply invert that final fraction. 6 over 1 is 6. They will take exactly 6 days to finish the job together. Option A.
Okay, visualizing them painting a house made that fractional math click for me instantly. Question 62. If 8 women can complete a task in 10 days, how many days will 16 women take? A, 20 days, B, 5 days, C, 4 days, D, 8 days.
To solve this, we use the vital concept of calculating the total woman days required to finish the job. A woman day is a unit of work representing one person working for 1 day.
If 8 women work steadily for 10 days, the total effort invested is 8 multiplied by 10, which equals 80 woman days.
The crucial rule is that this total effort of 80 required to finish the task remains completely constant, regardless of how you staff it. Now, we want to know how long it takes a new team of 16 women to chew through those exact same 80 woman days.
We set up a simple equation. 16 women multiplied by unknown days equals 80 total woman days.
Divide 80 by 16 and you get 5. It will take them 5 days. Option B. Notice the logical inverse proportion here. If you double the number of workers from 8 to 16, it logically takes exactly half the time, from 10 down to 5.
Question 63 moves to speed and distance. A train travels at 50 kilometers. How far does it travel in 45 minutes? A, 50 kilometers, B, 30 kilometers, C, 45 kilometers, D, 40 kilometers.
The fundamental physical formula here is distance equals speed multiplied by time. Our given speed is 60 kilometers per hour, but look closely at the time provided, 45 minutes.
This is where people fail. You cannot multiply hours by minutes directly. We must mathematically convert the units to match before performing any calculation.
Exactly. We need to express 45 minutes as a fraction of an hour. There are 60 minutes in an hour, so 45 minutes is 45 over 60 of an hour. Dividing both by 15 simplifies this fraction to 34.
So 45 minutes is exactly 0.75 or 34 of an hour. Now we multiply. The speed of 60 kilometers multiplied by a time of 34 hours.
60 divided by 4 is 15. 15 multiplied by 3 is 45. The total distance covered is 45 kilometers. Option C is correct.
Question 64. 2 trains, 120 meters and 80 meters long, run in opposite directions at 40 meters per second and 60 meters per second. How long do they take to cross each other? A, 4 seconds, B, 1 second, C, 5 seconds, D, 2 seconds. I really like how elegant the relative speed concept is in these problems. Can you break it down for us?
It truly simplifies what initially seems like a chaotic, multivariable scenario. Think about driving on a highway. If you are going 60 miles per hour and a car passes you going the opposite way at 60 miles per hour, they look like they are flying past you at 120 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's a blur.
When two objects travel in opposite directions towards each other, their relative speed, the speed at which the gap between them closes, is simply the sum of their individual speeds. So for our trains, 40 meters per second plus 60 meters per second gives us a combined relative speed of 100 meters per second.
Next, we need to calculate the total physical distance they must cover to completely pass one another. For the nose of one train to pass the tail of the other, they must traverse the combined length of both trains.
That distance is the sum of their lengths. 120 meters plus 80 meters equals 200 meters of total distance. Now we just apply our standard formula modified for time. Time equals distance divided by speed.
200 meters divided by our relative speed of 100 meters per second equals a clean 2 seconds. They cross in a blink. Option D is correct.
Indeed.
Question 65 dives into mixtures. A vessel contains 40 liters of milk. 8 liters are taken out and replaced with water. Find the new ratio of milk to water. A, 4.1. B, 5.1. C, 3.1. D, 4.3.
Let's track the inventory of the vessel step by step. Initially, we have exactly 40 liters of pure milk. The first action is removing 8 liters of that liquid.
So 40 minus 8 leaves us with exactly 32 liters of pure milk remaining in the vessel.
The second action is replacing that removed volume with 8 liters of water. Now, our vessel is full again, holding a mixture consisting of 32 liters of milk and exactly 8 liters of water.
The question asks for the final ratio of milk to water. That is expressed as 32 to 8.
To find the standard format, we must simplify the ratio by dividing both sides by their greatest common divisor, which is 8. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 8 divided by 8 is 1. The final simplified new ratio is 4 to 1, which corresponds directly to option A.
We are entering mensuration and geometry up next. Question 66. Find the area of a trapezium whose parallel sides are 8 centimeters and 12 centimeters, and the height is 5 centimeters. A, 40 skew centimeters. B, 58 skew centimeters. C, 60 skew centimeters. D, 100 skew centimeter.
A trapezium is a four-sided shape with only one pair of parallel sides. To solve this, you need to rely on the exact geometric formula for the area of a trapezium. Area equals 1/2 multiplied by the sum of the lengths of the two parallel sides, multiplied by the vertical height between them.
Let's carefully plug in the numbers provided. The parallel sides are 8 and 12. Their combined sum is 8 plus 12, which is 20.
The formula is now 1/2 times 20 times the given height of 5. 1/2 of 20 is 10, and 10 multiplied by 5 is 50. The total area is 50 square centimeters. Option B is our answer.
Question 67. Find the length of the diagonal of a square whose side is 10 centimeters. A, 10 centimeters. B, 100 centimeters. C, 10 root 2 centimeters. D, 20 centimeters.
You don't actually need to memorize a specific square diagonal formula if you remember the Pythagorean theorem we used earlier. Drawing a diagonal line perfectly splits a square into two identical right-angle triangles.
Oh, right. In those triangles, the two legs A and B are simply the sides of the square, which are equal. So side squared plus side squared equals the hypotenuse squared, which is our diagonal.
But it is indeed faster to just memorize the direct resulting formula. The diagonal of any square always equals the side length multiplied by the square root of 2. Since our given side is 10, the diagonal is instantly known as 10 times root 2, or 10 root 2 centimeters. Option C.
Question 68. Find the curved surface area of a cylinder with radius 7 centimeters and height 10 centimeters. Take pi as 227. A, 220 skew centimeters. B, 1,540 skew centimeters. C, 880 skew centimeters. D, 440 skew centimeters.
Visualize a can of soup. The curved surface area is exactly the paper label wrapped around the outside of the can, not including the metal top or bottom.
If you unpeeled that label, it would form a rectangle.
The width of that rectangle is the circumference of the circular base, 2 times pi times radius, and the length is the height of the cylinder h. Therefore, the formula for the curved surface area is 2 times pi times radius times height, written as 2r.
Let's substitute the values given. We have 2 multiplied by the fraction 227 for pi, multiplied by radius of 7, multiplied by a height of 10.
Notice how kind the test makers were. The 7 in the denominator of pi perfectly cancels out the radius 7. That removes the fraction entirely, leaving us with a simple multiplication. 2 times 22 times 10.
2 times 22 is 44. 44 times 10 is 440. The curved surface area is 440 square centimeters, which is option D.
Visualizing peeling the label makes the formula make so much more sense.
It really does. Question 69. In a triangle, 2 angles are equal, and the third angle is 80 degrees. Find each of the equal angles. A, 50 degrees. B, 40 degrees. C, 60 degrees. D, 80 degrees.
A completely unbreakable foundational rule of flat Euclidean geometry is that the sum of all interior angles in any triangle is always exactly 180 degrees.
The problem states we know one angle is 80 degrees. If we subtract that known angle from the total 180 minus 80, we are left with a pool of 100 degrees.
This remaining 100 degrees must be shared exactly equally between the two remaining angles because the problem specifically states they are equal, which by definition makes this an isosceles triangle.
So we simply divide the remaining 100 by 2, giving us exactly 50 degrees for each of the two equal angles. Option A is correct.
Perfect.
Question 70. How many diagonals does a pentagon have? A, 10, B, 5, C, 4, D, 6.
If you draw a pentagon, a five-sided shape, and connect every corner to every other non-adjacent corner, you draw a five-pointed star inside it. Counting the internal lines of that star gives you 5.
But for larger polygons, drawing it out is impossible.
Right. There is a very handy universal algebraic formula to find the number of diagonals for any polygon. It's n multiplied by the quantity n minus 3, all divided by 2, where n represents the total number of sides.
Let's apply it. A pentagon has 5 sides, so our n is 5. Let's calculate. 5 multiplied by the quantity 5 minus 3 divided by 2.
This simplifies to 5 times 2 divided by 2. The 2's cancel each other out perfectly, leaving just 5. A pentagon has exactly 5 diagonals. Option B.
Entering the final stretch of the math section. Trigonometry. Question 71. What is the value of cot 30 degrees? A, 1, B, 12, C, root 3, D, 1 over root 3.
Trigonometry is all about ratios. Cotangent, or cot, is mathematically defined as the reciprocal of tangent. So, by definition, cot 30 degrees equals 1 divided by tan 30 degrees.
This is where you must have your standard trig tables memorized. From those tables, we know the value of tan 30 degrees is exactly 1 over the square root of 3.
So our equation becomes 1 divided by the fraction 1 over root 3. A fundamental rule of fraction division is that when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal.
So that's 1 multiplied by root 3 over 1, which simplifies instantly to just root 3. Option C is the correct answer.
Very good.
Question 72. What is the value of sec 0 degrees? A, 0, B, 2, C, 12, D, 1.
Similar to the previous logic, secant, or sec, is the reciprocal of cosine. So sec 0 degrees equals 1 divided by the cosine of 0 degrees.
Think of the unit circle. At 0 degrees, the horizontal x-coordinate is at its maximum. Therefore, the cosine of 0 degrees is a standard fundamental value of 1.
Knowing that, we plug it into our reciprocal equation. 1 divided by 1 gives us 1. The value of sec 0 degrees is simply 1. Option D.
Question 73 brings us back to basic algebra. If 6x equals 2x plus 20, find the value of x. A, 5, B, 4, C, 6, D, 10.
Our primary goal in algebra is to isolate the unknown variable x onto one single side of the equation. Currently, we have 6x on the left side and 2x on the right side. We need to collect them.
Let's mathematically subtract 2x from both sides to keep the equation balanced. On the left, 6x minus 2x gives us 4x. On the right, the 2x cancels out, leaving only the 20.
So our new simplified equation is 4x equals 20. To find the value of a single x, we divide both sides by 4. 20 divided by 4 yields exactly 5. The value of x is 5, making A the correct option.
Question 74. What is the smallest 4-digit number divisible by 5? A, 9,995, B, 1,000, C, 1,005, D, 1,500.
This question is a pure test of your logical grasp of the number system and divisibility rules. Don't look at the options first. Ask yourself, what is the absolute smallest 4-digit number mathematically possible?
The moment you cross from 999 into 4 digits, you hit 1,000. That is our floor.
Now, what is the universal divisibility rule for the number 5? A number is perfectly divisible by 5 if and only if its final digit ends in either a 0 or a 5. Does our floor number 1,000 end in a 0?
It does. Therefore, 1,000 is itself perfectly divisible by 5, making it indisputably the absolute smallest 4-digit number that meets the criteria. Option B.
Exactly.
And wrapping up section C, question 75. What is the value of 3 raised to the power 4? Written as 3 to the 4th. A, 27, B, 12, C, 81, D, 64. We touched on this earlier in the analogies section.
We did, and repetition builds mastery. An exponent explicitly tells you how many times to multiply the base number by itself. The base here is 3 and the exponent is 4.
So 3 raised to the power of 4 literally means 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3.
Let's break that string of multiplication into pairs to make it easier. The first pair, 3 times 3 is 9. The second pair, the other 3 times 3 is also 9.
Now we just multiply those two intermediate results together. 9 times 9 is 81. Option C is our final math answer.
Awesome work through that math gauntlet. This step-by-step whiteboard approach makes it feel so much less overwhelming.
We have now arrived at the final leg of our model paper. Section D, English Comprehension, encompassing questions 76 through 100. This segment tests our mastery of language rules, vocabulary context, and grammatical mechanics.
Let's get right to it with synonyms.
Question 76. Select the most appropriate synonym of the given word. Ancient. Options are A, modern, B, new, C, recent, D, old.
First, define the task. A synonym is a word having the exact same or nearly the same meaning as another word. The word ancient refers to something belonging to the very distant past, something that has been in existence for a very long time.
Looking at our options, modern, new, and recent, all relate to the present or immediate past. They are antonyms, they mean the exact opposite.
Old, option D, is the only matching temporal concept, making it our correct synonym.
Question 77. Synonym for courage. A, bravery. B, fear. C, cowardice. D, weakness.
Let's define the target. Courage is the mental, emotional, or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or profound difficulty. Fear, cowardice, and weakness all represent a failure or lack of courage.
Bravery, option A, represents that exact same resolute strength in the face of adversity, serving as the perfect identical synonym.
All right.
Now we flip the script to antonyms. Question 78. Select the most appropriate antonym of the given word. Guilty. A, liable. B, innocent. C, culpable. D, blameworthy.
We are now looking for an antonym, which is a word directly opposite in meaning. Guilty means justly chargeable with or responsible for a grave breach of conduct or a specific crime.
If we look at the vocabulary in the options, liable, culpable, and blameworthy are all high-level synonyms for guilty.
The exact opposite state of being legally or morally responsible for a wrong is being free from guilt, which is defined as being innocent. That points us to option B.
Question 79. Antonym for maximum. A, highest. B, greatest. C, minimum. D, most.
Maximum denotes the absolute greatest quantity, amount, or value that is possible or attainable. Highest, greatest, and most are all direct synonyms indicating that extreme upper limit.
The exact opposite concept, representing the absolute least possible amount or the floor limit, is minimum, which is option C.
Spot on.
We have some idioms now. I always find these tricky because they don't make literal sense. Question 80. Select the most appropriate meaning of the given idiom. To kill two birds with one stone. A, to hunt birds. B, to waste one's effort. C, to throw stones. D, to achieve two aims with a single action.
Your instinct is correct. Idioms are essentially never literal. If an option simply describes the physical action in the phrase, it is almost certainly a trap. This idiom isn't about hunting or throwing stones.
To kill two birds with one stone is a long-standing cultural metaphor for extreme efficiency.
It describes a highly productive situation where a single unified action successfully resolves two entirely distinct problems or accomplishes two separate goals simultaneously. Therefore, option D, to achieve two aims with a single action, is the correct metaphorical interpretation.
Question 81. To be on cloud nine. Does it mean A, to be extremely happy, B, to be high in the sky, C, to be confused, D, to be very tired?
Again, we actively avoid the literal interpretation of floating in the sky. To be on cloud nine is an English idiom that expresses a state of profound euphoric bliss, elation, or absolute joy.
If you were to walk out of this exam knowing you just scored perfect marks on the quantitative section, you wouldn't just be happy, you'd be ecstatic, you'd be on cloud nine.
Option A, to be extremely happy, perfectly captures this state.
Let's test spelling. Question 82. Select the correctly spelt word. A, A-C-H-E-I-V-M-E-N-T, B, A-C-H-I-E-V-E-N-T, C, A-C-H-E-I-V-E-N-T, D, A-C-H-I-E-V-M-E-N-T. They really try to tangle you up visually with those I's and E's.
They absolutely rely on visual confusion. This question specifically tests your knowledge of the classic English spelling rule, I before E, except after C. Though we know there are exceptions to that rule in English, the root word achieve follows it perfectly.
So the base is spelled A-C-H-I-E-V-E.
Next, we are turning the verb into a noun by adding the suffix ment. You don't drop the E when adding a consonant suffix. Putting it all together, we get A-C-H-I-E-V-E-M-E-N-T. This corresponds perfectly to the spelling in option B.
Question 83. Identify the misspelt word among the options. A, question. B, session. C, occasion. D, position.
Let's examine the structure of each one. Question is Q-U-E-S-T-I-O-N. That is correct. Session is S-E-S-S-I-O-N. Correct. Position is P-O-S-I-T-I-O-N. That is also correct.
Now look closely at occasion. It's written here with a double C and a double S.
The correct spelling of the word occasion has a double C, but only a single S. It should be spelled O-C-C-A-S-I-O-N. Therefore, C is the misspelt word and is our required answer.
Moving to grammar and fillers. Question 84. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. He is capable blank doing this work. A to B for C with D of.
This is a question strictly testing your knowledge of fixed prepositions. In the English language, certain specific adjectives are idiomatically and permanently paired with specific prepositions.
The adjective capable always structurally pairs with the preposition of when you're describing someone's innate ability to do something.
You would never grammatically say capable to do or capable for doing. The rigid, fixed expression is capable of, making option D the only correct choice.
Question 85. He works hard blank, he can succeed. Options are A, so that B because C, although D, unless.
We need to look at the relationship between the two clauses to find the right conjunction. We are looking for a conjunction that establishes purpose. Why is he working hard?
He works hard at the specific forward-looking intention or goal of succeeding.
The phrase so that is the specific conjunction used to introduce a dependent clause of purpose. By contrast, because introduces a past reason, although introduces a contrasting idea, and unless introduces a conditional requirement. Thus, option A, so that, fits the logical purpose perfectly.
Question 86. She is blank best singer in the class. Options are A, no article, B, the C, A, D.
This tests a very rigid rule regarding degrees of adjectives. The word best is the absolute superlative form of the base adjective good. The progression is good, better, best.
The grammatical rule states that superlative adjectives modifying a noun must always be preceded by the definite article the.
Why? Because superlatives are by definition singling out one specific, unique entity sitting alone at the absolute pinnacle of a group. There can only be one best, therefore it must be definite, the best singer. Option B is correct.
Question 87. Select the grammatically correct sentence. A, I waiting for an hour. B, I has been waiting for an hour. C, I have been waiting for an hour. D, I am waiting for an hour.
We need to identify the exact temporal condition being described. We are describing an action waiting that started in the past, an hour ago, and has continuously persisted right up into the present moment.
The specific verb tense required for this unbroken duration is the present perfect continuous tense.
The grammatical structure for this tense is the subject plus the auxiliary verbs have been plus the present participle ing form of the verb. Because our subject is the first person pronoun I, the correct auxiliary is have, not have.
So the structure becomes I have been waiting for an hour. This perfectly matches option C. Question 88. Select the grammatically correct sentence. A, 10 kilometers are a long distance. B, 10 kilometers were a long distance. C, 10 kilometers have a long distance. D, 10 kilometers is a long distance. Okay, wait. My brain is telling me that kilometers ends with an S, so it's a plural noun. Wouldn't you naturally pair a plural noun with the plural verb are?
It's an incredibly common trap, and your intuition is exactly what the test makers are preying on. While the word kilometers is indeed technically plural, we have to look at the context of the whole sentence.
In this specific usage, the phrase 10 kilometers is not referring to 10 individual separate kilometer markers.
It is being presented and thought of as one single, unified, collective block of distance. The grammatical rule is that when a plural noun denotes a specific, singular quantity, amount, distance, or period of time considered as a collective whole, it takes a singular verb.
Because we are talking about one long distance, we must use the singular verb is. 10 kilometers is a long distance. It sounds slightly counterintuitive at first, but option D is the only grammatically correct choice.
Wow. Consider my mind blown. I absolutely would have gotten that wrong. I'm so glad we flagged that rule. Let's look at the mechanics of voice and narration.
Question 89. Change the following sentence into the passive voice. The gardener waters the plants. Options are A, the plants are watered by the gardener. B, the plants were watered by the gardener. C, the plants are being watered by the gardener. D, the plants have been watered by the gardener.
Voice shifts are pure mechanical formulas. The mechanical rule for shifting from active to passive involves moving the object of the sentence to the subject position and adjusting the verb tense accordingly. The original active sentence is in the simple present tense, indicated by the verb waters.
The object receiving the action is the plants. So the plants becomes the new subject at the front of our passive sentence.
Because plants is plural and we absolutely must maintain the original simple present tense, the correct passive verb construction is are watered. Finally, we add the original actor, known as the agent, at the end using the preposition by the gardener.
The final correctly structured sentence is, the plants are watered by the gardener. Option A. Notice how options B, C, and D improperly change the tense to past, continuous, or perfect.
Question 90. Change the following sentence into the active voice. The match was won by our team. Options are A, our team is winning the match. B, our team won the match. C, our team wins the match. D, our team has won the match.
Now we are simply reversing the mechanical process. The given passive sentence is in the simple past tense, clearly indicated by the verb phrase was won. The agent at the end of the sentence, our team, needs to be moved to the front to become the active subject.
Next, we convert the passive verb phrase was won back into its basic active simple past form, which is just won. The subject of the passive sentence, the match, is moved to the end to become the object receiving the action.
Put those pieces sequentially together. Our team won the match. This perfectly matches option B.
Question 91 moves us from voice to narration. Select the correct indirect speech for he asked, can you swim? Options are A, he asked whether you could swim. B, he said whether I could swim. C, he asked whether I could swim. D, he asked, can you swim?
Converting a direct yes-no interrogative question into reported indirect speech requires 3 specific rigid shifts. First, to replace the quotation marks and connect the clauses, we must insert a connector word like whether or if.
Second, we perform a tense backshift. The present tense modal verb can must shift backward in time to its past tense equivalent could. Finally, we must logically adjust the pronoun perspective. If he asked the question directly to me, then the you in the quote actually refers to I.
Putting all these mechanical rules into effect, the direct quote, can you swim, transforms into the indirect statement, whether I could swim. The full correct sentence is, he asked whether I could swim. Option C is our exact match.
Question 92. Select the correct indirect speech for. He said, hurrah, we have won the match. Options are A, he said that they have won the match. B, he told that they had won. C, he asked whether they had won. D, he exclaimed with joy that they had won the match.
This is a specific type of narration dealing with an exclamatory sentence, triggered by the emotional interjection, hurrah! In indirect speech, we don't just report the words, we must report the emotion.
We do this by changing the basic reporting verb said to a descriptive phrase that captures the joy, such as exclaimed with joy. Then we connect the clauses using the conjunction that. Next, we apply our standard tense backshifts. The direct speech verb is, in the present perfect tense, have won. This must systematically shift back one step to the past perfect tense, had won.
Finally, the collective pronoun we must change to the third person they. The final, fully processed construction is, he exclaimed with joy that they had won the match. That aligns exactly with option D.
We're almost to the reading passage, just a few more vocabulary tests. Question 93 is a substitution. Select the correct one-word substitution for handwriting that cannot be read. Options are A, illegible, B, legible, C, eligible, D, negligible.
Understanding root words and prefixes helps tremendously here. The prefix ill often implies not, or the negative form of a word. If handwriting is clear and can be read easily, it is described as legible.
Therefore, applying the negative prefix, handwriting that is too messy, blurred, or erratic to be deciphered and read is illegible. Option A. To provide full context on the distractors, eligible means having the right to do or obtain something, and negligible means so small or unimportant as to be not worth considering.
Question 94. One-word substitution for a person who travels to a holy place out of devotion. A, trekker. B, pilgrim. C, tourist. D, traveler.
While all 4 of these words describe people who move from one geographical place to another, their core motivations differ entirely. A trekker walks for physical challenge, a tourist travels for leisure and sightseeing, a traveler explores generally.
But a journey undertaken specifically to a sacred or holy site, primarily for religious, spiritual, or devotional reasons, is called a pilgrimage. The individual dedicating themselves to that specific spiritual journey is a pilgrim. Option B.
Question 95. Select the option that best improves the underlined part of the sentence. Neither of the 2 boys were present. The underlined part is were present. Options are A, have been present, B, no improvement, C, was present, D, are present.
This sentence tests a highly specific, often misunderstood grammar rule regarding distributive pronouns. Words like neither, either, each, and everyone serve to single out individual members of a group separately, rather than treating them as a collective block.
Because they hyperfocus on the individual one, they are grammatically treated as strictly singular subjects, regardless of the plural noun that might follow them in the prepositional phrase. So even though the phrase says the 2 boys, the true grammatical subject of the sentence is the singular pronoun neither.
Therefore, it must take the singular verb form was, not the plural were. The grammatically corrected sentence is neither of the two boys was present. Option C provides the necessary improvement.
Question 96. Arrange the sentences in the correct order to form a meaningful paragraph. P, he bought a ticket. Q, he reached the railway station. R, he boarded the train. S, he found his seat. Options are A, PQRS, B, QPSR, C, PRQS, D, QPRS.
This is a test of logical chronology. We must rely on the sequential progression of events in reality. What must physically happen first? You have to actually arrive at the location before you can interact with anything inside it. So, you reach the railway station. Q is our indisputable first step.
Once inside the station, you must secure legal passage before getting on the vehicle. So, he bought a ticket. P comes next. With a valid ticket in hand, you physically embark onto the vehicle. He boarded the train. R.
Finally, once inside the train cars, you locate your specific designated spot. He found his seats. S. Tracing that logical timeline, the sequence is Q, then P, then R, then S. This sequence matches option D.
We've made it to the final sprint. A short reading comprehension passage for questions 97 to 100. Let me read the passage aloud slowly for everyone. Water is essential for all living things. We use it for drinking, cooking, and farming. Since clean water is limited, we must not waste it. Saving water today protects life tomorrow.
Okay, let's dive into question 97. According to the passage, water is essential for all blank things. Options are A, living, B, electronic, C, metal, D, written.
The absolute golden rule for reading comprehension sections is that your answers must map directly and exclusively back to the text provided. You must turn off your outside knowledge. Do not infer, locate.
The very first sentence of the passage states explicitly, verbatim, water is essential for all living things. We simply extract the word living right from that sentence. The correct answer is A.
Question 98. Refer to the passage. Which of these is a use of water mentioned in the passage? Options are A, welding, B, farming, C, mining, D, printing.
We scan the text specifically looking for a list of uses. We look to the second sentence, which provides exactly that. We use it for drinking, cooking, and farming.
Scanning our options against that list, farming is option B, and it is the only activity from our options that is explicitly present in that sentence. D is correct.
Question 99. Refer to the passage. According to the passage, why must we not waste water? Options are A, because it is colored, B, because it is costly to buy, C, because clean water is limited, D, because it is heavy. I can see people picking B here because water bills are expensive.
Exactly, and that's a brilliant point. The test makers rely on you bringing in outside assumptions to trick you. While water might cost money in the real world, option B is fundamentally wrong for this test because the passage itself never once mentions cost, money, or bills.
We must seek the direct cause and effect relationship stated purely within the text. The third sentence provides the internal reasoning. Since clean water is limited, we must not waste it.
The conjunction since provides us with the why. It is strictly because clean water is limited. This directly and safely matches option C. Stick to the text.
And the final question of the entire paper. Question 100. Refer to the passage. According to the passage, saving water today protects blank tomorrow. Options are A, money, B, fuel, C, paper, D, life.
We look to the grand finale, the concluding sentence of the short passage, to fill in the blank. Saving water today protects life tomorrow. The missing target word is life, which brings us securely to option D. And with that final confirmation, we've successfully and methodically navigated all 100 questions of the exam.
What an incredible, exhaustive journey through this model paper. We've gone from the spatial logic of analogies through the deep historical context of the Grand Trunk Road, right into the fraction math of painting houses, and finished with the rigid grammar of distributive pronouns.
Indeed, we have covered an immense amount of intellectual ground. And before we close, I want to offer a final overarching thought to you, the listener, as you continue your preparation. We've spent a lot of time analyzing the deep structural logic of specific math and reasoning sections, but what if you applied that exact same structural pattern recognition to your overall study strategy across every subject? Success in this exam doesn't just come from brute force memorizing these answers, but from recognizing the structural patterns behind them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What if you applied the logical deductions from the reasoning section to how you study for general awareness?
Yes. Start noticing how historical events connect causally, or how geographical features dictate economic realities. When you see the fundamental pattern stretching across all subjects, the entire exam becomes significantly less of a terrifying memory test and more of an interconnected puzzle you already know exactly how to solve.
Thank you for watching and following the winning strategies to solve various types of questions in all sections. You enjoyed this presentation and found it useful? Like it, share it with friends, and consider subscribing to our channel. Jandu Sphere. Good luck.